So, C10. I am at a point to where I've kind of overwhelmed myself and I need to just start making some decisions. As you can see, I've pulled out the chassis harness. I have my ECU and harness strung out. And then over here, you can see I got my AC compressor out because I realized that it bolts on right here. And as you can see, I have an engine mount right there. So that doesn't work very good. So I'm probably gonna have to go. for an aftermarket one with that. I think Dirty Dingo has a mini compressor that pushes it forward, which should push it up out of the way out of these engine mounts, because I could bring the engine forward a little bit, but I don't want to because I don't have my radiator yet. And I don't know how much room I have here, because I don't want to get too tight here. And my radiator's not going to ship for probably another month, which sucks. So I think I'm just going to mount the engine where it's at. But now that I've made that decision, I can install my hump over the transmission. Then I can drill a hole through there. And then I also had to make a decision, okay, what intake am I going to use? And I've decided I'm just going to use this stock one and then put a cover over it. Yeah, I like the car ones better, but that won't work, and these actually flow better. So I'm just going to stick with this just because I have it. I will have to change out the throttle body just because this is a drive-by-wire and I am using a drive-by cable. So I think first thing first, I'm going to get this set up, bolted on, and then I can start running wires and drill through the firewall where it's going to come through. And then I can decide where I'm going to be mounting the ECU and all that, either up on the firewall or maybe even here between the seats. I'm not sure yet. We will find out when I get closer to that. But yeah, I think I'm going to mount this, start figuring out engine harness stuff, and then we can go from there. Little update on the wiring routing. I have put a few things on the coils. Injectors are all plugged in. I have all of these that I can't really use until I get a new throttle body. But yeah, and I decided to cut my hole here in the firewall just because I don't know exactly where I'm going to route the ECU. It'll either be back here, because we do have plenty of room to get it back here, or under the dash where it might be a little tight there, but I don't know. But I figured if I do it there, I can go either way, so just went with it, and it seems to work well here. Just go straight to the engine there. So that's all figured out now. So now I want to work on mounting this Hydroboost. So this is a Hydroboost out of it's just an 05 Escalade, which that's what my engine's out of. So I figured, hey, why not, let's keep them the same. And I wanted to do a little more modern, that way easier to find parts and you're not buying kind of aftermarket all the time. So this will go like that, and I'll probably just use the existing hole, but as you can see, I'll have to re-drill the holes, but that should work just fine. One thing is, I know with this plate here, I think it hangs over this steering shaft hole, and I think I'm going to have to move this stud here, which I think I should be able to just hammer it out. And then there's another hole here that I assume I can just move the stud there, because I think I'm going to be cutting some of this out just to make clearance for the steering column. So I think think I'm gonna get that mounted. And then, funny story, I was actually gonna buy one of these. It was on my list of things to buy. And then the other day I realized, oh, I had already bought one. This is for the clutch slave cylinder. So yeah, I guess moral of the story is keep track of things you buy, because you might buy 2 of them. So I already have that, which is nice because I don't have to buy it. I think I'm gonna, so yeah, I'm gonna get this Hydroboost mounted, and then we can continue on this Firewall modifications. Well, I was right in the fact that I was able to just hammer this out. That hole is definitely a little bigger than that one, so I'll probably have to drill that one out and then see if we can get that to go in like that, but I think it should work. Yeah, just have to drill that out a little more, maybe clean those up a hair, but I think it might work. All right, got my template made up from the Hydroboost, have it marked. Firewall side, this goes onto the firewall. This is up, so we don't mess it up. So let's see what we got to work with over here on the truck. So lining those up like so. Man, we're actually really close on that hole. Something like that. So I'll mark those holes, drill them, and then we can test fit it. All right, we got the Hydroboost somewhat mounted. Like I said before, you can see here we're gonna have to do some trimming. And on the other side, you can see that these bolts are just in an awkward location. I don't know how much thread I'll get in there. I might have to replace those with bolts and nuts versus the studs. And then, but yeah, sits in there good. It's just these little wins that make you happy, even though this is so far from being close to being done. It's just like one thing that's just like mounted on. So, I don't know. It's those small wins in a build like this that help you keep going, because there's so much work to do. But I guess I'm gonna mark where that steering shaft hole is and get that cut out, and then I can get it completely flush and see what we need to do on the other side to get those nuts to screw in all the way. Alright, so instead of making just the U shape for the hole, I decided to just kind of lop things off altogether. So that's how it came out. So I guess let's see how she looks on the truck. See if I can do this one-handed. Should be able to. All right, there she is. As you can see, that's how it looks on the firewall. I don't know, maybe I'll end up cutting that straight across. It kind of does look kind of funky, but works for now. So, move on to the next thing, which is probably the clutch master cylinder, which I don't know exactly where this lines up, so I might actually I might have to put on the clutch pedal first and all that before I can make those holes. So I guess maybe I need to go get the pedal assembly and figure that out. Well, phone died, so I guess we're switching, or GoPro died, so I guess we're switching to the phone. But as you can see, this all lines up perfectly. Now, the reason that we're all doing this kidding me? All right, we're back. I had to take this bolt out so I could move the bracket enough to be able to slide the clutch in. Anyways, so yeah, now that we have the clutch installed, we can see on the Firewall where we need to mount the master cylinder. So I'm guessing it's gonna be somewhere in this location, but I'm gonna have to do some measuring and figure out where. All right, read through the instructions. I think I have an idea of how to do this. So this is a kit I bought from MDL, and this makes it so you can convert your truck to hydraulic or just make it hydraulic, because this was never a manual truck. But from the sounds of it, you measure from this fender hole here up to here, 7 inches, and that is where the center of the master cylinder will go, the mount. Here, it looks like they kind of made this notch in it, I think for the Firewall here, but as you can see, it's too much, so I'm gonna ground that down so it's nice and flush, and then we can start drilling some holes. So I got the three holes drilled. These are gonna be 5/16 for the bolt holes. This is gonna be 1 3/8. And then when I measured it, these are about 1 1/8 apart. It doesn't give you that measurement in the instructions, but I kind of measured, and that's close to where they fell. So hopefully that'll be close. So I'll probably drill those out first and then drill out the big one. All right, there it is. No turning back now. Now let's see if we can get these mounted on and see what it looks like. All right, she's all installed. Everything went pretty good, and I even went ahead and installed all the linkage under here as well, and it looks pretty good. The only thing I had to do here, which it looks like sometimes there isn't a hole here, so you have to measure and drill. I already have a hole here. I just had to make it bigger with a 7/16 drill bit, and then this just threads right into there. And we have a clutch. Pretty cool. This truck never even came with a clutch or a shifter. So she's officially converted. I guess I need to still do the hydraulic line, which goes from here to the transmission. But other than that, it's done. Put all this stuff on, you get really excited, but then you realize that this isn't final assembly. So you'll just be taking it off again, and it doesn't really matter, but still feels good to get things lined up on here. Definitely made some progress on the Firewall. Things are looking good. I want to pull the cab. The next thing I need to do though is I need to install the high hump, which is back there. And I think this is where the engine's gonna sit. It's already as far back as it can go. I don't really want to go more forward, because then you start getting into radiator and fan territory. So I think I'm just gonna leave it right there. So that means that I can drill the hole in the high hump where the shifter needs to go, and then we can mount that on. I don't know how I want to do that exactly, whether it's bolt on or what, but we'll figure it out. But man, making progress, slowly but surely. It's be cool when it's done, that's for sure. Well guys, I think this is where I'm going to end this one. Feels good making progress on the truck. We're getting close to where I'm going to be pulling the cab back off and kind of doing real body work, getting the Firewall shaved down and start stripping paint. sandblasting all of that. So that's exciting, because once we start doing that, then it's like, okay, we're building the truck now instead of just doing rust repair. So I am looking forward to that. It'll be changing the mindset to, sweet, let's build this truck instead of just doing stuff so I can build the truck. Now we can actually get going on it. Start doing final body work, which will feel good to be moving on to that. So I guess this is it. Thank you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.